New year, Stranger Things finally comes to an end. Sum it up easily as this.
Suck my fat one!
So let's not forget, in the last episode, the gang found out that Vecna's trying to merge the worlds and basically destroy humanity. But don't worry, everyone take a seat. When we're on a massive time limit. But Will's got something important to say.
I don't like girls.
Get off of me! The door! Somebody help! I'm being kidnapped!
Okay, Will, we get it. Put the child down. It's hard to know who the series is for anymore. They've even added more things that need explaining, which they said they're going to explain in another series, which they should have explained in this series, but they probably still won't explain in that series, so it'll need to explain in another series, and that still won't explain it, so they need to explain something that needs explaining. That still needs explaining. That will never get explained. Yeah. But this is basically the writers just going, but basically where we're at, Vecna wants to slam the Abyss into the real world to destroy humanity. 11 and 8, God knows why they brought 8 back. They enter Vecna's mind with the help of Max, because she was there for so long, to stop him just as it reaches the radio tower, so the others can climb into the Abyss. While they're climbing the radio tower, Mike and Will have to have a little 5-minute chat about how he's sorry that he didn't speak up when he was coming out. But overall, Mike might as well just turn around and go, all right, I accept you, but I ain't going to bomb you. 11, 8 and Max managed to stop Vecna from bringing down the Abyss right in time, but Steve Harrington falls off the tower. And it cuts to black. It's at that moment, it goes to adverts. You knew he wasn't going to die. It was just there for that weird audience that goes, but yeah, it didn't have that effect. In that time frame, though, there was a really good scene where Vecna goes into Hopper's mind, messes with him a little bit, shows him 8 and 11's plan, what they're going to do after defeating Vecna, and makes him believe that he shoots 11, bringing her back into the real world to get them out of his mind. And that kind of shows what Vecna should be like in a fight. Not what we got in the end. With them stopping the collision of the Abyss in time, the other group managed to get into the Abyss through the rift into a desolate wasteland, the homeland of the Mind Flayer and the Demogorgon and the Demobats and all that lot. But I think they were on holiday. All the VFX department ran out of money. It wasn't there. This is where I think they really missed a beat though, because while this was going on, the military basically find the radio tower, they find the plans, what they were making at the end of the last episode. So they knew that they were going there to defeat Vecna. And this would have been a perfect moment for the military to be like, oh shit, there's a bigger threat out there. We need to go help these children that are going to go fight this monster. Basically skipping to the last battle though, the Mind Flayer turns into a massive kaiju monster. Nancy Wheeler, she'll be the bait, while the others go on top of the cliffs to fire down on it. But doesn't give him any time. She'll be the bait, but right then, while the group is actually fighting the kaiju monster, the Mind Flayer, does everyone remember how the military did against the Demogorgons and even Vecna? Bullets wouldn't hurt it at all. In the past, the only things that did hurt it was fire, really, which the group does use. They use fire. But then you've got like Nancy Wheeler using bullets to the face of it. So she's doing like the least amount. But they basically make her look like she's like Rambo and taking it out by herself and just get in the bin. Before they start fighting the kaiju though, this is where 11, she actually makes her way to the Abyss. Magically. She basically tears open so she can get in there to have her little fight with Vecna. But this is where I think the military would have been a great place if they knew that there was a bigger threat. They could have come in with helicopters, shitloads of personnel, and this is where you could have had the demo dogs and everything trying to protect it, the demo bats trying to protect the mind flayer. Then you could have had the military fighting them to try to hold back, to basically turn it into a massive battlefield, give it some depth instead of what we got where they say it themselves, treat it as hit points. They basically turned it into a game. And this is kids with slingshots and little spiky things on sticks, with only one of them with a gun. Even though Jonathan did have a flamethrower, but we're going back to even the military couldn't even touch Vecna, because when they were shooting at him, he was just swallowing the bullets, basically. The way he gets defeated in the end, they push him into a tooth. A tooth. The whole last fight just feels really unearned, rushed. There was just no depth to it. They could have done so much more with that and turned it into a massive event, but now it's just, meh. And kids beat up a massive spider and they push Vecna onto a tooth. I do like the way, though, no one checked on Vecna after he was impaled on the tooth. They started taking the kids out, and all you could hear in the background was I did like that it was Joyce who took the last blow. Well, last 20 blows. Someone needs to sharpen that axe. All of that last fight and everything, it was so rushed, and you can tell it was rushed. That was half the episode. The rest of the half of the episode was basically saying goodbye to the cast, and it could have worked. Like when you had Mike and Hopper sat on the bench and they were talking about grief and letting go. Hopper did give him some good advice, because Hopper's dealt with it before because he's his daughter and everything. That was a good scene. Even with Dustin, when he has his little speech and he flips off the principal, that's what Eddie wanted to do, and he was paying respects to Eddie. Things like that, they were good, but because there was no payoff in the last fight, it just felt forced, and it felt like it dragged on. But the thing that needed to come out of it, find out at the end, Jonathan just basically becomes a commie. That's great. It's great for Netflix to want to push communism when they're the biggest streaming outlet out there. When it comes to the finale, there's a lot of Defied, and you know what? If you liked it, fair enough. I'm sure your carers will be happy because they can clean the windows you've been licking while you're watching it. But I enjoyed the first 4 seasons. I really enjoyed them. I've gone back and watched them over the years a lot. This wasn't just a disappointment. It was disrespectful to themselves. They didn't know what they were doing. After season 4, they themselves said that each episode was going to be like a little mini movie. A lot of people took that it was going to be like 2-hour episodes, but I don't think they actually had a plan. And they were thinking, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it. And it got nearer the time where they had to start shooting. They're like, fuck. This will do. And just went from there. It causes a lot more questions with the whole Elle sacrificing herself. Then at the end, the whole, we believe that she's still alive because of 8 and stuff. They did that to try to have some long-lasting debate with Stranger Things fans. But the thing is, because of how lackluster season 5 was, I'll give it a few months and people probably won't be talking about it, and Stranger Things will now be remembered for season 5. It will have that curse, and it will have that curse whenever they bring out spin-offs. That's kind of sad. I also see a lot of people talking about, Stranger Things isn't the kind of show that has deaths and things like that. Well, it does. You have Bob, you have Chrissy, you have Eddie, you have Bob, list goes on and on. You have Papa, as I said, list goes on and on. But did the main characters need to die? No, you don't need the main ones to die. But maybe a side character or something, just to have just to give some stakes to the battle that was very easily won. Do I think Eleven's still alive? Probably not. It was a weird one because when they were showing how Mike sees it. It did show her hands flicker and stuff. Maybe they shouldn't have added that because it would have added more debate if they didn't add something like that. Because that makes you think, oh, she is alive then. But no, I feel like it's just one of Mike's stories to help him grieve, just to help him get over it. And if they do bring her back, I feel like that would be a bit of a cop out. But the whole season was a bit of a cop out, if you ask me. The thing is with it, is it awful? Close. Is it good? No. Is it Game of Thrones season 8 level? No. Go back and watch that. It's unwatchable. That was probably the worst way a series could have ended. They put way too much focus in characters that didn't really matter. Like they turned a bunch of boys with this weird girl into a bunch of girls with some weird boys. Throughout season 5, they try to push Robin to the front, and Robin was I thought Robin was a good character in the past seasons, but she's not front screen main character kind of level. She's better in the back. Not how that sounds. And it's the same with Nancy as well. They basically try to turn Nancy into Rambo, and it's just laughable. She's like a 60-pound soaking wet little girl. You have moments where she's like in a gunfight with the military, and she's outgunning them. It's like, these are trained killers. As soon as you popped your head out of that fan, that would have been a headshot and you're gone. But I suppose they would have the plot armor, don't they? And doing the whole Nancy Wheeler ends up with no one because she needs to find herself. She probably would have been better off just staying with Jonathan. Best characters in this season, though, were probably Vecna and Derek. Derek was a weird surprise character, but he carried a couple of the scenes. It was funny. When he flipped off Vecna going into the cave, I couldn't help but just burst out laughing at that. It was great. People online, though, they need to stop this whole Will and Mike shipping thing. You realise these guys are kids, right? Just stop. You're being weird. Stop asking for these imaginary deleted scenes that they've said don't exist already. Signing petitions and stuff. You're being weird. Stop it. I'd love to know what you all thought, though. So let me know if you want. Don't if you don't. Until next time.